Greetings, YouTubers, and welcome back to another Todd E. Walnuts unboxing overview video, I guess. This is going to be the complete unboxing in one video of Crystal Lake Memories. This is a German Mediabook box set put out by a company called 84 Entertainment. They're one of the giants in the media releasing department, and they're one of the big boys. So I have the entire box set here that was put out in 2018, and this includes all of the media books from part 1 all the way through to part 12. It also includes the Crystal Lake Memories media book. These are all the padded ones. I'm going to go through these. I have shown this before on the channel, but I'm going to dedicate one video to this box set. And I also purchased on a separate release, his name was Jason, also put out by 84 Entertainment. Now this is not one of the padded media books, but it's really nice, and we're going to go through all of these today in this video. So get yourselves relaxed, get a beverage and a snack. The gang is all here. It's a lazy Sunday morning. So let's check out this box set. So what I'll do in this video, I'm going to pull these out one by one, and then when the box is empty, we'll go through and we'll take a closer look at the box. And I'll show you the little details of, it's a really nice little addition that they put together here. So I may have to pause it again because I don't like to just pinch and grab things out. I like to be very gentle. So I'll be right back. So here it is. This is the first one from 1980. And they all come with this kind of like a little half slipcover. I'm not really sure what you call these things, but it's all in German. And these are Blu-ray DVD combos, and they're Region B and Region 2 on the DVD. So just be aware of that. If, first of all, I doubt you'll be able to find a set like this. It's very rare. And secondly, if you do, it's very, very pricey. This thing has gone up like probably quadruple of what I paid for it. And I paid a little bit of money for this. So if you can find this, it's going to be very, very expensive. And these padded media books are really nice. I don't know if you've ever seen them. So the regular media books are like a hard shell book, and they're really good quality in their own right. But they even kind of stepped it up a level or a notch on these padded books. And I'm not sure if the camera's picking it up here, but it's a little bit thicker, and then it has kind of a, well, pad. It's padded, so it's a little bit softer. And I really like these things. They're beautiful. Also later today, I'm going to do a flip through of the big book, Crystal Lake Memories, but that won't be till later tonight. Some really nice, thick, glossy pages. There's a lot of really cool photos, some from the movie, some from behind the scenes, and just really, really good quality. Unfortunately, I don't read or speak German, so I'm not able to read the captions and stuff, but that didn't deter me from picking this up. This is the Blu-ray here, and the first one was the DVD. I didn't mean to go through that so quick, but so that is part 1. Part 2 is one of my favorite covers. I think that's a beautiful design for Sackhead Jason in part 2. And then there's Amy Steele. She was the final girl in part 2. Now this is a 3-disc special edition. And Jamie Steele played the character Ginny in part 2. You guys are all aware of that. She was a good final girl. I really enjoy her character. There's Pamela Voorhees. She was beheaded in part 1. I really love that the artwork wraps around too. It's a really beautiful design. And the quality is always impeccable with the German releases. You always get superb sound, really crisp audio and visual. It's a classic scene from the very end of part 1. Man, we didn't find a boy. These were the beautiful twins. I hope this is YouTube friendly. I don't remember. I always enjoyed the kind of the campfire counselors. Those were pretty fun scenes. That's a classic scene from the movie. This has been on posters, and yeah, that's a classic scene. There's old Sackhead. And that's what he looks like without his... Now you can see why he wears the sack, right? I wish some of you would wear a sack. I'm just kidding. You don't deserve to be insulted when you come here. I'm just having a little fun with you. These are Blu-rays, and this is the movie. And this is a DVD with bonus materials. And what did we say this was? This was also a Blu-ray. There's a lot of extras on here, so you need an extra disc for that. But I believe the extras on the Blu-ray and the extras on the DVD are the same. So that is part 2, and that's a beautiful cover. Here's part 3, 3D. I don't think this one came with 3D glasses though. But if you've watched any of my Friday the 13th videos, I have several pairs of 3D glasses. So if I ever felt like I needed to watch this particular edition in 3D, then I would just grab a different set of glasses, but I don't do that. I don't watch movies in 3D. I don't like the way that the paper feels on the top of my ears, and I'm not a fan of the 3D for movies. I did see part 3 in a movie theater, and they had movie theaters, or they had glasses at the movie theater when I was a kid, and it was a really fun experience. I went with 2 of my friends in the neighborhood. Their mother took us, and it was fun for a one-time experience, and I'm glad I got to experience that, but I'm just not, I don't like to watch movies with glasses on, so. I know for a little while they were trying to come out with 3D TVs, and it was a very, very short-lived fascination, and it doesn't even exist anymore. I don't think you can even buy movies that are 3D, or TVs for that matter. So 4K seems to be the big thing, and who knows what'll be next, but I guess we'll all be in line to buy the next one, 8K or 100K or whatever it is. Next, and here's a couple more discs. You got a Blu-ray 2 and DVD bonus materials. This was Blu-ray 1. Another great cover though. You can see the inside of the mask with the strap. Pretty nice idea, really good design. So here's part 4, the final chapter, and we know that this is where the saga ends. There was only 4 Friday the 13th, so obviously not, because we're waiting for part 13 to come out now, but you can see Jason's mask is now starting to get battle damaged. And you can see a young, unhinged Corey Feldman, who was Tommy Jarvis. That scene right there where Jason's hand gets split at the end of the movie. He takes a pretty good ass kicking in this movie, Jason does, but Jason never dies. But I think this was the closest he ever came to meeting his match. But what fun would that be if Jason died, right? If they do plan on ending the franchise, 2009 was the last Friday the 13th official movie that we got. It's 2025 as I'm recording this. So if they don't plan on continuing the franchise, they should at least come out with a closure, one more, and end the franchise if that's what they're gonna do. Seems like they're in no hurry. They're sitting on it. I mean, there's still movies to be made. There's enough fans of this franchise and this character that they could still keep this thing alive pretty easily. I just don't understand. I know Victor Miller, he owns the rights. He's the creator of the story and the character, Jason Voorhees. He's getting up in age, and there's another good scene from the end. I mean, he just gets completely annihilated at the end of this movie. A couple more discs here. You have another. These are 2 DVDs this time. You know what? The other ones may have been 2 DVDs. I was assuming it was 2 Blu-rays, and I don't know. These 2 are DVDs, so I can see the DVD logo. Part 4, the final chapter. So part 5 came out as a new beginning, right? Because part 4, Jason dies. You watch the end of the movie. There's no way Jason lived, right? So in part 5, there's a Jason imposter who's killing people. And it's a red herring, and it's the only movie where Jason has the blue chevrons instead of his classic red, right? And that's because spoiler alert, this movie is 40-something years old, so if you didn't watch it by now, that's not on me, that's on you. And Roy Burns, who was the paramedic, the ambulance driver, has a vendetta, and he dresses up as the man in the mask, and he's got the blue chevrons, and there's a reveal at the end. And I believe, I don't know this for sure, but this is just my belief, that they planned on doing something different with this franchise, kind of the same way that the Halloween franchise went from part 2 to part 3, Season of the Witch, and it didn't have anything to do with Michael Myers. And a lot of the fans and, just the fans of the movie and the series and the franchise and some of the directors and actors, they didn't like the change, and they wanted Michael Myers back. I believe there was something similar with this. I think after they saw that Jason was dead in part 4, and they didn't really like the idea of somebody else playing the role, I think. This is just my opinion, I don't know. That they ended up going back. Okay, I came across something that we're not supposed to see here on YouTube, so I had to cut out a couple seconds. So I'm not exactly sure yet. I didn't review the footage of where I was cut off when I was talking about fans not liking the idea that Jason was now just a random person who was out for revenge. If you've seen the movie, you already know all about that story. But so in part 6, they bring back the masked killer, and we'll talk a little bit about that when we come to part 6. We're still looking at part 5 here, which we're wrapping up now. And here's a couple more DVDs with bonus materials. One is the bonus disc, and one is the DVD of the movie for part 5. So here's what we were just talking about, part 6, which is one of the better installments in the franchise. I think most people can pretty much agree with that. I don't really ever hear people saying bad things about 6 or 4 for that matter. I think there are some people on the fence with 5. I happen to really enjoy part 5. But I can see why people wouldn't, just for the fact that, you know, Jason was not in the movie. But I thought the story was good for 5, so it gets my thumb up. But there's a couple near the end of this franchise that are pretty bad. But I guess you can definitely say that about any franchise, because Halloween has some really terrible movies in it. The Halloween franchise to me is worse than Friday the 13th. It's just my opinion again. I know there's a lot of Halloween fanboys. I like the early stuff and the newest stuff. There's just stuff in the middle I didn't really care for. Texas Chainsaw franchise was pretty terrible at the end. There's some really excellent movies in that franchise, but some of the ones at the end here are really bad. And I hope they bring that one back. We're due for a good comeback with TCM, I think. My wish, this is just me again, Rob Zombie takes a crack at an episode, as an installment, I guess, of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He was similar, in a similar vein with House of 1,000 Corpses. I think Zombie would be the perfect guy to try to tackle that franchise and kind of revive it. But we're definitely due for a good Friday the 13th. And we're definitely due for a good Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I think Halloween, the franchise right now, is on a good roll, and I hope they stick with that, because it's really been great, in my opinion. But that's part 6, Jason Lives. And here's part 7, The New Blood. I know that there's a lot of my friends here and people that have been viewing and commenting on my videos that really love this movie. I don't hate it. I love Lar Park Lincoln. I think she's great, and she's adorable. And she's still adorable. When I was on Facebook, I was a Facebook friend with her, and Barbara Crampton too, and Rosemary Garetta from Demons. I was friends with her, and all of these ladies are still gorgeous. They're beautiful. I don't love this movie like everybody else does, but I do enjoy it. I just don't, it's a different kind of a concept for me that there was a beautiful teen girl who can mentally beat Jason with kind of a telepathic power, and I'm like, that's just not I'm not interested in that kind of twist to the movie, but I still do enjoy it. I just don't love it. That's a great poster, though. Definitely a great poster. There's Lar Park Lincoln. She's such a cutie. I know she had gone through some health issues, and I won't talk about that, even though she was open about it on her Facebook page, and obviously that's how I read about it. So she was public with it, but I just don't feel comfortable talking about her health here. This is just kind of an overview of this box set, but I believe she's doing fine. All the best to her. Much love and positivity her way. Look at that. Trying to get that flash off of there. These are both DVDs. Yes, they're both DVDs. So These, I have to pause it. These little clips, I don't know if you guys are familiar with some of these German media books, but they have these kind of these little springy, I don't want to really touch it too much. There's little thin pieces of plastic here. I don't know if you can see it moving with my finger. They're very, very thin, and they act as kind of like a spring. So what you do is you put the DVD or the Blu-ray in there, and then you push down with the DVD to kind of activate these, and it kind of holds it in place. Well, if these clips ever break, and they do, trust me, I mean, they're very, very fragile. So once those break, you're pretty screwed. You just have to kind of put it in there and close the book, and then just hope that the disc doesn't flop around and slide around, which it will. So just be really careful. I do not like this design. And if it ever breaks, you can't really fix it because, I mean, what can you do? So I'm not a big fan of that. So part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Another one that's just, it's okay. I don't love it. I've only watched this particular part maybe less than 5 times in my life. So, and the last time I watched it was many years ago. So it may be due for a rewatch. It's a great cover though. I mentioned this, in my opinion, it's the cover's better than the movie. There's the Blu-ray. Take that out. There we go. Be gentle. Just be gentle. There's no need to rush and start pulling things. I thought she was a cutie. There's an alternate movie poster that they used also. I think, did this come out in 1988? Let me see. Well, I'll let you look at the cutie while I'm reading the back of the J card here. And 89, it looks like. 1989, this came out. It's a classic scene right there from the movie. This image has been shown several times in magazines and advertising for, it was even a cover for one of the Waxwork Records soundtracks for this movie. There's a nice splash page. That's a pretty cool image. I don't want to go too fast. I just saw another cool image here. Yeah. Jason in the subway. Yeah, I hope they do another one, and I hope they don't just rush one and put out a really shitty movie. And I do like Derek Mears as the latest Jason, even though that was, what, 16 years ago now. I wouldn't mind, actually. I would love to see Kane Hodder come back and do one more. He's at least one more. I mean, he's still in really good shape. And to me, he was the best Jason. I think that's a pretty safe thing to say. Most people would probably agree with me on that, but bring Tom Savini back, obviously, and let's make another one. Let's make that happen. We don't have to wait another You know, just in a couple more years, it'll be 20 years since we had a Friday the 13th movie. Let's make that happen. Here's another instance where the cover is better than the movie, and this is a really kind of a very colorful palette compared to a lot of the other kind of dark and dreary and dreadful kind of covers. All of a sudden, pow, you get this explosion of fiery oranges and yellows, and it looks great, but the movie is really not one of the better ones in the franchise. Just my opinion, but Jason Goes to Hell, 1993. They're calling it the Final Friday again. They tried to trick us once. They called part 4 the final chapter, and now they're calling part 9 the final. What did I just say it was called? The Final Friday. But we know that there were 3 more after this. I've only seen this one a couple times. So you get Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X on this one, but you also do get a standalone Jason 10, which we're gonna go through next. Here's Jason X. Jason goes into space, and it's not a great movie, but I find bits and pieces of enjoyment in this movie. I have fun with it. It's a drive-in style, just a fun type of a movie. It's very similar to Freddy versus Jason, which will be next to part 11, but this is definitely, I can see how some people would not like this, but I do. I enjoy it. And this one also has Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X on it. And this is just the standalone DVD for the movie Jason X, and this was the Blu-ray double feature, just like in the previous one we just looked at from Jason Goes to Hell. All right, now next, we were kind of spoiled, I guess, depending how you look at it. I enjoyed Jason X, and I also enjoyed Freddy versus Jason, and these movies came out like within, I think this was 2002, Jason X. I think this was like 1 year, maybe 2 later. I think this came out in 2003. Let me see here. Yeah, 2003, right there at the top. So all of a sudden, bang, bang, we had 2 Friday the 13th in a row. And there's people that don't like either of these, but I happen to really enjoy both of these. But I would still like to kind of get back to the kind of the nitty gritty, the original kind of like the in the deep woods and the campground near the lake, you know, and clever kills, good writing. We deserve at least one more. There's a really beautiful cover. I think that's great. Another good image. Yeah, this is really cool. I'm just kind of reading here. I'm sorry. I'm just reading the back. There's a DVD. DVD there, and I've seen this movie a handful of times too, but I do enjoy this movie. The ending was great, in my opinion. It left it open. 2 legendary horror icons. I love tough chicks in movies. It's really fun. legendary actor and character. I wouldn't mind seeing a part 2 of this, of Freddy versus Jason part 2, or Freddy versus Leatherface, or pick one, you know. I've heard that they were going to do, and I think they had a comic series of Jason versus Ash from the Evil Dead. I think they did. I'm not familiar with the story, so I'm not sure how it went, but I think I do remember hearing that they had maybe even a series of that comic. But that is part 11, Freddy versus Jason. We have actually 3 more, and then we'll wrap this up. So here's part 9 from, this is part 12 from 2009, is what I meant to say. And this is the 3-disc. Comes with 2 cuts of the film. You get the theatrical and the killer cut, which adds, I think it was 8 minutes to the length of the movie with the killer cut. This one was pretty fun too, and like I mentioned earlier, this brings Derek Mears now as Jason, and he's a little bit of a different build. Derek Mears, he's very tall, he's lean, he's very muscular. Whereas Kane Hodder, he's also very muscular, but he's a little more compact. He's still a huge guy. I think Derek Mears is like maybe 6'6", and I think Kane Hodder's like 6'3" or 6'4" maybe. So Mears is a little bit bigger and a little bit thinner, but they're both, I mean, massive guys. They're huge as far as they're chiseled. You know, they're very muscular guys. And I think that works well for a Jason character. You gotta have that imposing, you know, he's already scary. He's wearing a mask and he's got a machete, but now he's bigger than you and he's stronger than you. What are you gonna do? You know, and you can't kill him. How are you gonna get away from this madman? And that's the lore, you know, that's the reason why we watch these movies. You can't kill Jason, so how are they gonna get out of this one? She's very, very pretty. What a beautiful girl. All of these actresses in this movie. That was probably one of the things that I kind of, I don't want to say disliked, but I kind of prefer Joe Average in movies like this, you know, and Plain Jane and Joe Average. They don't all have to be like supermodel looking, you know. It's not realistic. It doesn't hurt it. I mean, it's good on the eyes to look at all these beautiful women in this movie, but for the overall lore of the franchise, I think just having like Plain Jane and Joe Blow go through here and get massacred in the forest. You can see all of these ladies are just absolutely gorgeous. Jared Padalecki from Supernatural. I think he's a pretty good actor. I like him. One of the Winchester brothers. That's a great show, Supernatural. It's kind of underrated. I mean, there are people, probably a lot of people watching this video are well aware of Supernatural and probably have seen them all. But I think overall, or maybe it's just me, but I don't really hear too many people ever talk about that show. And it had a long run. It's over now, but you can get all of them on Blu-ray. And I do have, I think I'm only missing a couple seasons for that show, but it's a great, great show. It has great cars, great writing, great music. It's a really cool show. So this was it. That was part 12 from 2009. Now the last 2 that I'm going to show you are documentaries, and then we'll wrap this up. The next one is the documentary called His Name Was Jason, 30 Years of Friday the 13th. This came out in 2010. This is the 3-disc limited special edition put out by 84. Let's take a look at their logo too. We didn't really do that in this video, but you guys are aware of this. But I really love logos. I think they're great. It's kind of the brand of your product. And if you have a cool logo, it just looks really good on the box. So this goes through from the very first movie from 1980 all the way through part 12, which came out in 2009, and then the 30th year anniversary was 2010. So this covers everything from 1 through 12. It's a really good documentary too. There's the Blu-ray, the iconic mask, Sean S. Cunningham. There's the red herring Jason, the fake Jason with the blue chevrons on the mask. Some of the beautiful ladies who were in the franchise, and they were back for interviews and stuff to kind of celebrate the 30th. There was a lot of people that came back, Tom Savini, and it's just really fun to go back and hear their thoughts, you know, all those years later. Really cool. Some of these legends have passed away, but they will always live on through these movies and our movie memories. Ken Kersinger there, he was a really good Jason too. He was another kind of a hulking, very muscular figure. There's Kane Hodder. I think he still has a couple in him. He's getting, you know, we're all getting up there. We're all aging. Nobody can beat Father Time. But some of these guys have taken really good care of their bodies. There's Lar Park Lincoln from A New Blood. She's still beautiful. You can see her there in the background as her young character in the movie, and then this is her aged in 2010. And she's still very beautiful. I love it when women age naturally. You don't need to put a lot of shit on your face. You don't have to put plastic surgery and get things tucked and moved and nipped, and just age beautifully. Look at these ladies, are beautiful. Just age naturally. There's Alice from part 1. She's beautiful too. She's a really, really sweet lady. I have some things signed from her that I bought and she sent to me. There was I've shown them here before on the channel, but there was I don't drink. I'm a non-drinker. I avoid alcohol. I just don't care. I mean, it's not like I'm against it. I'll have a beer here and there, but I haven't in several years, just because of my choice. Nothing, you know. Usually if I tell people I don't drink, the first thing, are you recovering or have you had an accident? No, it was nothing like that. I just don't really like to drink. But anyway, she was having a promotion with a wine company in California. This was years ago. And she designed some of the covers or some of the labels, I should say, for the wine. And it was a Jason Voorhees or Friday the 13th themed wine. And she's a painter in real life, and she's an artist, and she has beautiful paintings, and they sell for thousands of dollars, tens of thousands. But she designed the labels, and with this promotion, if you bought the wine from the company, she would sign the bottles, and you can pick out a little phrase for her to write, and I did. As a matter of fact, if you stick around till the end, I'll show you the bottles that I had signed and what she wrote on them. And she was such a sweet lady. And she sent me also an 8x10 of her. And I just really enjoyed that transaction. She was really, really nice. Very down to earth. She embraces her character. She embraces the franchise. You'll often see her in like bonus materials talking about the movie. You know, she's not ashamed of it, or, you know, she really embraces it. And I love to see that, so. Some more beautiful women from the franchise. Okay, one more, and I'll show you the bottles of wine, and then we'll end the video. So the next one and the last one is really beautiful. This is called Crystal Lake Memories, and this is a documentary that talks about the Crystal Lake Memories book, and also hours of bonus materials about the franchise. And this is a 2-disc collection, and it came with a little art card in here. This came out in 2018. This box set did, and this was part of This little card was part of this. And you can see some of the, you can see Sean S. Cunningham. He was the director of part 1. And just look at this cover. That's beautiful. Also, I will be, here, show you, I'm going to be going through, I have the complete history signed book here. I'm going to be doing a flip through of that maybe tonight. More than likely I'll record it and then upload it tonight. So you'll get to these 2 videos here on Sunday. Or whenever you're watching these, you may be watching these 2 years from now, or who knows, but and that'll be kind of like the conclusion of the, I guess, kind of media collection. And I'll show the figures in a different video. I've shown them many times, and I'm just not really in the mood to show them now, but I do have quite a few. And I keep adding to that figure collection, but you get Tom Savini. Really nice. He made the head of Pamela Voorhees. And you can see Ari. Wait, who's this? I don't think that's Ari Lehman. No, that's not child Jason. Ari Lehman played the child Jason in the first one from 1980, the drowned boy who was disfigured. And she's still beautiful. Really beautiful woman. She was a great character. I think she was my favorite final girl from this series. I would even put her up there with like Sally Hardesty as one of my 2 favorite final girls from movies. Marilyn Burns from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. See some of the, looks like maybe they were having a watch party. I don't read German, unfortunately, but it's still fun to see these photos, but I just can't tell you what exactly. There's a little caption here, but I'm not sure what that says. And I'm guessing it's maybe a watch party or some kind of a party after the production. Here's some concept art of some of their ideas for Jason in space, I guess. Jason X. Jason Goes to Hell. 2009 Jason. Final chapter. Really beautiful set. So before we get to the wine bottles, I just wanted to kind of go through the empty box. Now it's a lot easier to handle when it's empty. So it's just, it's real wood. And it has a really nice design on it. I don't know if that's laser etched or how they did it, but it looks really, really good. And this is kind of a slide top. It has like a tongue and groove type slide here, which means that it just slides into a groove basically. So if you look at the box from this side, I don't want to hit the dog in the head, and she's sleeping right there, but there's kind of a notch that runs along the inner length, and you can see that each of these little dividers in the middle kind of holds the media books in place so they don't rattle around. But you can just take this piece and just slide it into the, sorry about that, Hannah, I didn't mean to wake you up, sorry about that. Let's kind of pull this back. So that just kind of goes, sits in there like that. It's a really beautiful design. And on the, let me see here, I'll flip it over. It's not the easiest to do, but we'll get her done. This was limited to 1,500. You can see that there. I got number 247, and this was released in 2018. Nice heavy duty, kind of plywood, I guess. It has a nice scent to it too. I don't know if it's pine or what it is, but or spruce. I'm not sure how that works, but you can still smell it even though it's 7 years old now. It still has a nice kind of a fresh wood smell to it. You okay? I'm sorry if I woke you up. You're a good girl. You're a good girl too, Heidi. Good puppies. Want a cookie? I'll give you a cookie when the video's over, we'll get a cookie. All right. So there it is. That was the Crystal Lake Memories. All of the media books just kind of slide right in. Really nice. It's a beautiful design. His name is Jason. Let me know what your favorite movie is in the franchise, or what your least favorite is, and who would you like to see play Jason if there's a part 13? Who would you like to see direct it? If you have any questions or comments, leave those below. Stick around and we're going to look at some wine bottles. Okay, so these were the 4 bottles of wine that I purchased. This was several years ago, from 2014. And the company was, it's a little dusty, I apologize about that, but Rogue Valley, Oregon. It was where the winery, I'm not sure what you call it, was, but Adrienne King, who played Alice in the first movie and part of the second movie, she designed the art for these labels, right? So let me see if I can zoom in a little bit better. So you can see that was her signature from the label, and this was her actual signature when she signed this bottle. And she also put a little saying on each bottle, and this one says, stay away from, I know what it says. I want you guys to be able to see it. This freaking, stay away from Camp Blood. It's got a death curse, and obviously that was a Crazy Ralph line. But she even put, I don't know if you can see that, she even designed the O's on blood with little red dots. I mean, she's a doll. I mean, this was great. She really embraces her character, and I really love to see that. So the next one, this focus, man, on this phone. Again, this is, it's the same, well, actually, you know what? This is called a Moonlit Chardonnay from 2014. This one was called a Survivor's Syrah. And she signed it Adrienne King, Alice. She designed the label, and she put on there, you're doomed. You're all doomed. Crazy Ralph again. And the third one, I think I paid $100 for all 4 bottles, and it was shipped to me from Oregon. This one is called a Midnight Merlot. This was a 2012 wine. There she signed it, Adrienne King, Alice. And on this one, Jason Voorhees, Never Dies. And she must have wrote that with some kind of like a white, like a, what do they call it, spray paint pen, or I'm not sure what the term is, but I mean, that stuff, that's on there. I don't like to clean these very much, because each time you clean something like this, you'll fade the label and you'll fade the print. So I really need to get some kind of a plastic display case or something to put these in, if there's even, I'm sure there's something like that out there. But, and the fourth one, it was called a Chiller White. Actually, she signed these in 2017. I think I said 14, but it was 2017. And she signed it on a Friday the 13th. So if you look it up, on October 13th in 2017, that was Friday. It was a Friday the 13th, making this a little even more cooler than it already is, if you can believe that. This is already pretty freaking cool. But she signed it right there, Adrienne King. Again, she's the artist for the artwork for this. You can go to her website and buy art from her. It's very expensive, but if you got that kind of scratch, I mean, go for it. But you can also buy prints of her work too. So it's not the actual, you know, the painted piece. It's not the original. It's a print of it, but, and she'll sign stuff for you. So happy Friday the 13th, she put on there. And signed it on Friday the 13th. How cool is that? So I'm glad to have these. I need to get some kind of like protectors to keep these in so the dust and stuff stays off of them, but really glad to have those. So thank you guys for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Later. There's your cookie. There's your cookie. Good girls. Good girls.